So are you listening to those little nudges, the little hits that you get of intuition, or are you ignoring them? In today's video, I'm going into 3 ways that you might be ignoring that inner wisdom and then how to tune in and start listening. So thank you for joining me. I'm AmyC with You Finding You. I'm an intuitive and transformational coach. And right now you can check in the dialog box below. I have a link to these tools that can help you get reconnected with your body and building up this awareness and listening within. So again, do check that out. It's a freebie that you can snag up. It's in the dialog box below. So let's go ahead and jump on into this. And today we're going into 3 signs that you're ignoring your inner wisdom and then ways to start tuning into it again or getting connected with yourself to listen again. So the first sign that you're not listening to that inner wisdom is that you feel there's something off, but then you dismiss it. So you might be working with someone, arranging, doing a project, and you feel that, nah, something doesn't feel right with this. Or working a deal with someone, and again, you're just like, they don't feel good to me, or this doesn't feel good to me, but you keep pushing forward anyway. And like, I keep thinking about it myself years ago, well, years and years. I was a couple years into working in the visual effects industry, and I left the studio I was working at. I went over to another studio and I started working there, and it was a startup company. And so things were really getting started there and things were slow. And within a few months, I was like, I don't really want to stay. This doesn't feel right for me. And so I ended up applying to another studio, got hired there, and I left. So I only was at that place for a few months and I left, and within 2 weeks of me leaving, that studio closed. So I feel like there was something in me nudging me that was like, something's off, something doesn't feel right. And so I did actually follow it at the time. But there was enough of an offness in me, a feeling of something's not right. I wasn't really happy or satisfied there, that I wanted to make a shift. So I did. So my question to you then is, are you listening to that inner feeling? So there's 2 things that you can try. Next time you're in that feeling of this doesn't feel right, it's offness, rather than just pushing it aside and dismissing it, you can actually connect into your body and ask, like, what are you telling me? What are you letting me know? And sit with it for a minute. So tune into it. Again, rather than just pushing it to the side, you can be like, okay, it wants to tell me something here. So what is it that I'm feeling? What is going on here? As well, you can slow down, take a breath, and just tune in again to your body and listen to, is this aligned or not aligned? Is this a yes? Is this a no? And feel into what is going on here. It might actually just be showing you that there's another path. So it might not be that it's completely off. Maybe it's just not quite aligned. And then you can adjust or make adjustments to what is more aligned. So it might not be completely wrong. Maybe there's just a little bit of tweaks that need to happen. But it's listening or tuning into that in yourself to really start finding the path. And the second sign that you're not listening to that inner wisdom is that you're constantly seeking outside for validation, for approval. And I know in myself, I did that all the time. Like, I was always, okay, let me get their opinions, their thoughts on how to do this, rather than actually tuning into myself. So what you can start doing is really start listening to that voice inside of you. That voice is not going to speak very loudly. So it's like you need to take a step back and listen. And I noticed in myself recently this exactly, where I would get other people's opinions or their thoughts on a situation to make me feel better and be like, oh, yeah, okay, actually, I am listening to my intuition. And like I had this situation where I felt kind of off and weird with a friend. And the situation, I was like, did I do the right things? Did it turn out where I was being kind to her? I was questioning it. So I went and I talked with other friends about, was this right? Was this okay? And as I talked with them, I started to see that I was listening to my gut and my intuition and how I responded from a loving or a kind place, but still how I responded was in listening to that intuition. But I needed the validation from everyone else for me to really feel better about it. And I then realized the thing that will start helping is trusting that initial feeling within you and listening to it and being like, yeah, okay, as I trust it, I am practicing that trust and building up that trust like a muscle. You're building up this inner knowing in yourself. So it takes time and practice. If you're not already listening to those things, or if you're needing validation from everyone else, it takes time to get into that place of really, okay, now I trust, completely trust that initial hit within me. And it takes time building up and really having that trust within you. So, the third sign that you're not listening to that inner wisdom is you overthink things, your head is ruminating, going over and over things, and you're not listening to those body cues. And if you're like me, I know I will go into stories and things over and over in my head and ruminating over it and, changing this story and that story and getting into all the emotions of it. And then not really listening to those inner cues within us. Instead, we're in all of these stories that we're going into. And I know for myself too, in the past, I would do pros and cons list of, like figuring out, do I need to make a decision here or here? What do I need to do? And that going over and over again. But what I realized is that as I would do a list, I would get this gut feeling. And that gut feeling was always like, this is the right thing. This is what you want. This is what is right for me. And so it's listening to that or seeing that, acknowledging that you're doing that or can do that as well, tapping in. So then tapping into what is a yes and what is a no. So really connecting into in your body and ask your body, what is a yes? So if you sit for a minute, take a breath and ask your body, have your body or ask your body to show you a yes. And a lot of times a yes is like leaning forward, but it might be different for you. So ask your body, what is a yes? And then ask your body, what is a no? Like show me. And a lot of times no is going forward. So, or sorry, backward. Yes, going forward, backward with a no. And again, it can be different for you. So go with whatever feels right for yourself. And then ask your body these questions. Like if you're trying to figure out or make a decision, you can say, is it this one or is it this one? Or you can say, is this one correct for me? And then see if that says yes or a no. You can also sense if it feels light or heavy. If something feels lighter for you, then that is usually more of a yes, where if it feels heavy, it's more of a no. So again, you can play with this rather than getting stuck up here in these stories and ruminating over things. You can get back into your body and notice these yeses or nos for you. So your inner wisdom speaks through your body, through these sensations, through this gut reaction, through these feelings, and it's very subtle. So you have to take a step back, calm yourself, and ask and get connected into your body. And when I say get connected, it's just starting to listen, asking questions of your body. And then, as well, paying attention to those moments when you get those kind of gut feelings and asking it then, oh, what's going on here? As you start doing that, you start building it up, like I said before, like a muscle. Like you build up this listening within yourself, and you start noticing it more and it starts talking with you more. So play with these different ways of connecting into yourself, into your intuition, and as you do, you start really living more intentionally in your purpose and following those things that are truly loving, happy, abundant, joyful ways of living for yourself. So thank you guys for joining me today. If you are enjoying and getting value out of these videos, do hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.